Good morning, everybody. Kind of noisy because of the highway. If you can hear that, there are chorus frogs calling in there, which is a pretty good sign. It's a sound I love to hear. They're probably southern chorus frogs. We're out here in the panhandle of Florida today, and it is nice and overcast. There's a hog skull. Interesting. Today, I'm planning on doing some exploring in the floodplain of the Apalachicola River. And that is because I want to find my lifer, Apalachicola Dusky salamander, and maybe also try to find a red salamander. That would be awesome. But either way, I'm just going to be looking for steephead ravines, which are a very special feature in the upper part of the Apalachicola River drainage. Basically, steepheads are just where the groundwater is pumping out of the aquifer, and it slowly erodes as it travels and makes its way down to the river itself, and it ends up eroding this ravine into the landscape that travels farther and farther from the river. A very unique microhabitat that's only found in the upper portion of the Apalachicola River. So it'd be pretty cool to explore some of that because I've never really gotten the chance to do it before. So that's the plan for today. So hopefully we'll get to see some cool salamanders and maybe some snakes. Guys, check this out. Looks like we have found a seepage. So this is fresh groundwater seeping through the ground and coming out right here. These slopes in this really hilly area of Florida end up creating this perfect little seepage streams. And like I was saying earlier, the steepheads is where those seepages have just carved out these trenches that travel farther and farther over time from the river, which the Apalachicola River is that way. Oh, these mushrooms, guys. I really don't know what these are. What species? It's like a dinner plate. It looks like some kind of shelf fungus. There's plenty of them on these logs. Interesting. Just peeled back this bark a little, and 3 anoles ran out. You can see there's still 2 in there. There he is. There's quite a large one in there, but here's some pretty old oyster mushrooms. They look kind of past their prime, but those are edible. They're actually a choice edible mushroom. Of course, don't just take my advice and go pick mushrooms and eat them, but do your research first. But these are very good to eat. Another edible mushroom. These are puffballs, and when they're still white inside like this, they're edible. Wow, what an impressive fungus. That's my hand on top of that thing. That is crazy. What a huge fungus. That's another big one. That's like dinner plate size, and then this thing is just massive. Big fungus. I think finally we have found what we're looking for as far as habitat goes. That is a waterfall. Not a common sight in Florida. Even in North Florida, you usually have to do some looking before you find a waterfall. This is magnificent. It's a seep. This is what's known as a steephead, what I was talking about earlier. You can see how it's eroded over time, carving this slot into the landscape. And finally, we get to the actual end of the steephead, which is this glorious waterfall that we've been searching for. Took all day to get here, but finally we have made it. So the thing that I really want to see in here is the Apalachicola Dusky salamander. So I'm going to start searching and we'll see what we come up with. Finally, in situ, I just rolled this log. There it is. The Apalachicola Dusky. No. Come back. I got him. Okay. Let's get him up where I can take photos of him without him getting away. Finally. Woohoo! So, why am I so excited about this little brown salamander? Well, the short answer to that is just because it's incredible. Yes, there are many species of dusky salamanders. Up in the Appalachians, there are many species of duskies, and I think that's part of the things that makes the genus Desmognathus, which is what he belongs to, so special because it has so many different species, and they're all finely tuned to a specific niche. This guy,
It's only found in these steepheads, and that's what makes them special. There's a bunch of different species of dusky salamanders, but only this one is found here. He's very similar to his cousins, but he's very different all the same. He's adapted to this specific type of microhabitat that's found nowhere else on Earth. You know, just think, how often do you see this kind of thing in Florida? You usually don't. But where you do, you see these guys. So they're a cool little piece of natural history. I love them. This is my lifer, so it's my first ever Apalachicola dusky salamander. I've seen lots of his cousins up in the Blue Ridge, but this is the farthest south I've ever seen a dusky. So I'm going to take some more photos of him, and we're going to let him go. I have to keep wetting him to make sure he doesn't dry out, because dusky salamanders breathe through their skin. Just like we breathe through our lungs, they breathe through their skin, so they have to stay moist, which is why they live in these very moist environments. We'll see if we can turn up a slightly larger one, because one of the distinctive characteristics of the Apalachicola dusky is that they have a very spindly, long tail, whereas a lot of other dusky salamanders have a very paddle-like tail, almost. We're going to see if we can find another one with a full tail, because that guy his tail had been broken off before, and he was in the process of regenerating it. I've looked all day and not seen any. I just flipped this over. I didn't get it on video, but I flipped this over and there were two underneath it. They were still missing their bum, though. I was trying to find one with a full tail. There's one. I saw his little butt. There he is. Oh. There he is. There's one right there. He's also regenerating his tail, and he's got even less of a tail than the other one. So we're gonna keep looking for one with a slightly more intact tail. There's one. There's a pretty one. And he's got his tail. That's what I want. Oh, there he is. Let's see if we can get him. Oh no. Okay. Got him. Got him. Oh. Oh. These things are fast. Alright, this guy is a little bit more attractive than the other one. You can see his brown pattern there. That's also pretty specific to these guys. Alright. He's so fast. Alright, so you can see he has a long spindly tail, which is indicative of the Apalachicola dusky. He's got that little line behind his eye. And you can see he's got some brown patterning on his back. This guy's never lost his tail before. He is a little bit younger than the other ones we've seen. So, pretty cool to see a full, healthy specimen like that. Alright, let's let him go. Alright. Walk over here. Let this guy get back to what he's doing. Look at all these liverworts. These guys usually stick pretty well to the walls of these. Oh, never mind. We'll let him get back in there doing his thing. Another one with a full tail. The little guy. This is clean water, pure groundwater coming out of the aquifer. We're going to dig around in here a little longer, and then we're probably going to go downstream from here. Let's see who else is hiding out. There's one. Oh, that's the guy we just let go, I think. It would be really cool to see a red salamander. Oh, there's two right there. 1, 2. Excuse me, guys. Well, it's good to know that we found the duskies. After all day of looking, we finally managed to find some salamanders. So if we follow the steephead down, carved into the limestone, so we'll see if anyone else is hiding down in here. Anybody under here? They got under here. Oh, there's a dusky. There's a dusky little guy. I like how pretty the little ones are. They got their little markings. Kind of subtle, but in person you can see it. I'm kind of wet and muddy, but we've seen the Apalachicola Dusky salamander, and I'm happy about that. That was my target for today. The red salamander would just be icing on the cake, and I think I'm still going to try to find one before I go, but I'm really happy with that. Just unique to the region. Not only unique to the region, but unique to this very specific type of habitat. So, pretty good experience exploring my first steephead. I didn't even know much about this kind of habitat before I moved down here, so I'm glad I finally got to take a look at it. I'm on the way out. I'm scratched up from all the smilax. I'm covered in mud and sweat. And mind you, I'm sweating and it's December. The end of December. That's Florida for you. I'm sweating. It's now raining. So it looks like I timed my exit just perfectly. It wasn't a super productive day, but I saw the little brown salamander that I intended on seeing. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna put some salamanders I found yesterday on at the end here because I found them in Georgia when I was up visiting family for Christmas. So I'm gonna tack those on the end of the video right here. Enjoy, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, we're out here on my Uncle Davy's property, and he turned over a log on the edge of this black gum ephemeral pond, and we got a marbled salamander. He found it. I did not. Inside of a log right here. Looks like a little female. She's kind of a darker gray than the males. They're usually white. So this pond's already filled up, so I didn't know if we were going to see one because the eggs have already hatched. But it looks like she's still hanging out. Pretty cool. Haven't seen one of these in a few years. This lovely little salamander back in its log. And look for some more. So she was actually inside of it. So we're going to put her back inside of it. She knows where she's at now. There she goes. I'll put this back. Take some leaves. Hold in that moisture. There we go. Give her time to burrow back into that moist log. I was trying to find this old pine tree that used to be standing here. Now it's laying down and rotting, but I remembered it had a bunch of pine bark around it. So I found it and started digging through the pine bark and found a nice big southeastern slimy salamander. And I used to see these all the time here. So it's good to know I can still go back to this bark and find him. He's ready to go, so I'm going to put him back where he can burrow back underneath this pine bark. But that's how I found him, right there. Yeah. There you go.